Okay, we're on the Trestle Bridge, and of course this is Dobney Creek, you know, again at its finest. Of course we've had a little bit of rain, you know, at times it was a little heavy, but of course we won't even go over why it looks like it is. I think we've shown you up above. We're below those overpass area where the Developers Creek joins into this. This is Dobney Creek in its whole and in entirety. Nothing more. Well, the mixture of the water now is, of course, why we see what we do. Okay, we can look over here. We can see it again. And then, of course, that opening down there is where it goes into exceptional waters. And how exceptional they must be now to be full of all that silt. Now, the city has many trails, and this is one of them. I guess it goes all the way back towards where we were and further. It's I don't know if it's part of the river trails, not part of Trans-Canada Trails, but I think it links to it. But anyhow, we talked about a sign before, and on this sign it talks about Dobney Creek. And it used to say clean, but it looks like somebody's altered the sign. Cold, and well, it still is cold, and it used to say healthy. Well, now somebody is obviously defaced the sign now down here. But I think what's important here is to see that it shows the outline of a creek and how this stuff happens, what's a riffle, you know, how things deposit, pools, eddies, back eddies, depositions where it would be, you know, siltration and all that happens. Some of the things that the kids have done around here to make shelters under the bank for trout and that. And of course the trout that's featured here is a brook trout. Beautiful fish, by the way. Anyhow, what it says on this is it says the health of cold water streams is an indicator of the environmental quality in our communities. Interesting. Water temperatures are constant, remaining cool in the summer and warmer in winter. Healthy stream channels form pools, alternating with faster flowing sections or riffles. This sequence maintains oxygen levels and provides a variety of habitats for aquatic insects, amphibians, and fish. So although Mayor Mike looks for fish kills, I don't know if he looked for amphibian or insect kills, but anyhow, they're all part of that ecosystem. Trout especially are indicators of excellent water quality. They need gravel beds to lay their eggs and cool, clear water to hatch. It says down here, this is important, creek at risk. And it says by the early 1990s, the impacts of urban growth and agriculture had begun to threaten the brown and brook trout populations of Dobney Creek. Water temperatures were rising as trees and vegetation were removed from the creek banks. Gravel stream beds were covered with silt as soil from nearby residential and industrial developments washed directly into the creek. Wow, we were really on the cutting edge here at the city, because I don't know about you, they are still running directly into the creek. Sorry. Choked with garbage and debris, Dobney Creek was wide, shallow, warm, and slow flowing. Trout were disappearing. This was in the 1990s. The creek was at risk, and yet here we are in 2008, and I've just showed you what's gone on in there. It says Dobney Creek is a spring-fed cold water trout stream originating in an environmentally sensitive area in Brantford Township, which of course they're doing all that building, and that's how sensitive those areas must be, that we would allow, you know, farmland and wetland to be basically plowed under to make way for row houses. It flows 6.3 kilometers through a farmland and urban areas before it joins the Grand River here in Brantford. Cold water streams are considered rare habitats in southern Ontario, or over 80% have been lost to changes in land use. So see, this is important, that we've already labeled this as rare, but we won't label it as significant or anything else. And obviously we're sucking and blowing here when we write signs like this and do what we do to the creek like that. Anyhow, over 80% have been lost due to changes in land use, it states. Restoration, a community effort. This is very interesting. This sign, I believe, would refer back to the 1990s and the restorations. And Pauline Johnson and a lot of other places have been quite involved in this and have spent probably thousands of hours and thousands of dollars just for this to be wrecked. Anyhow, in 1991, the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Grand River Conservation Authority, which, by the way, we haven't heard a word from, began a stream improvement program. With the help of Brantford steelheaders, Pauline Johnson High School students, and local landowners, thousands of trees and shrubs were planted along the creek as buffer areas. Volunteers have also rehabilitated the creek in some sections, placing more than 50 tons of rock in stream to remove flows and diversify stream habitat. Lunker structures and log crib walls, that's what these are here, protect banks and provide refuge areas for fish. So, you know, we've done a lot of work to provide refuge, but if we're just going to smoke that refuge out, I would, you know, make the analogy of, you know, we just built a nice new home for a family, you know, Habitat for Humanity kind of deal, and then what we did is we filled it with smoke and closed the windows. That's basically what's going on here. Now back to the sign. A sub-watershed plan now ensures the protection of Dobney Creek from future development. Volunteers continue to... This bothers me because I don't think so. If we had one of those, it's gone, or it doesn't exist, but anyhow, if we have something like that, and a sub-watershed plan now ensures the protection of Dobney Creek from future development, then why is it that we're looking at this? If it doesn't protect it directly, it should be protecting it indirectly, or both. Volunteers continue to be actively involved in collecting stream data and restoration efforts. As conditions in the creek improve, brook and brown trout will continue to thrive and spawn in its waters. As conditions in the creek continue to improve, does this look like it's improving? What we showed you before, is that an improvement? I think you should remove your signs and get an education on what's actually going on down here, because that's not what's happening. Shows you pictures of Pauline Johnson High School students that have been down here, you know, working their butts off to, you know, do what we've been teaching these kids in school, and that's protecting environment. And here we have all this stuff going on in the background. You know, these kids have been doing this for years, along with the Brantford steelheaders, who got to be just flipping right out at this. But of course, you know, what kind of power do people have individually? But look at this. So this is all about this cold, clean, and healthy. And I think we call it lies, 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 and more lies. Cold, clean, and healthy. My arse. We're going to take you right down to the river where it goes in and show you just how cold, clean, and healthy this is.